It begins with a question so simple and yet so enormous that the mind almost trembles when it tries to hold it. How far can we see in the universe? The answer is not a number we can quickly say, not a distance we can mark on a ruler or a map. It is something vast, something layered with time and light, with history and imagination. And to explore it, we must first understand what it means to see. When you open your eyes at night and look at the stars, what are you really doing? You're not just seeing points of light scattered across the dark. You're looking back in time. Every glimmer that touches your eyes has traveled. Sometimes for years, sometimes for centuries, sometimes for billions of years, across the vast black ocean of space. The light left its home long before you were born, long before your parents, long before humanity itself. To see is to catch a memory of the cosmos, a whisper from far away, carried by photons, the smallest messengers of light. Let's slow down and picture it. Imagine standing in a quiet field, away from the noise of cities, where the sky opens like a dome of velvet above you. A star twinkles overhead, maybe bright and steady, like Sirius, the dog star, the brightest star in our night sky. It looks so close, so sharp, like you could almost reach up and touch it. Yet Sirius is about 8.6 light years away. That means the light you see tonight began its journey nearly 9 years ago. If Sirius were to vanish this instant, you wouldn't know until the year 2034. In a way, you are always looking at the past. Now stretch this thought further. Some of the faint stars you see are not just years away, but hundreds or thousands. Their light began its journey long before the pyramids were built, long before humans painted caves, long before our species even walked the earth. The night sky is an archive, a library written in starlight, and your eyes are the readers, turning pages billions of years old. But the stars we see with our eyes are only the beginning. Our vision stretches farther when we use telescopes, machines that gather light like giant cups, pulling in more of those tiny photons than our eyes alone could ever hold. With them, we look past the boundaries of what the naked eye can grasp. We begin to see galaxies, spirals of stars, so vast they make our Milky Way look like just one city in an empire of billions. The Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large neighbor, lies about 2.5 million light-years away. The light reaching us now began its journey before the first humans walked upright. When you gaze at Andromeda through a telescope, you are seeing a message that has been traveling since before our story even began. And yet, that is still so near compared to what we know is out there. Beyond Andromeda, there are clusters, superclusters, webs of galaxies stretching out like threads of a cosmic tapestry. Some light has been traveling not for millions of years, but billions. Imagine that. Billions. A scale so large that the human mind almost refuses to hold it. We can see farther than we can ever travel, farther than we can ever reach. The most distant light we have captured so far comes from when the universe was young, only a few 100 million years old, compared to its current age of nearly 13.8 billion years. These faint, ancient galaxies appear like ghostly smudges, barely there, yet real. And beyond them, at the very edge of visibility, lies something even stranger, the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. A faint echo of the moment when the universe became transparent about 380,000 years after it began. That glow is not just far away, it is the limit of sight. We cannot see beyond it with light because before that moment, the universe was fogged with plasma. The light could not escape. So when we ask, how far can we see in the universe, we are asking more than a scientific question. We are asking about time, about the limits of perception, about the boundary where vision itself stops. We are asking what it means to be a creature who sees it all. And here, perhaps, is the quiet wonder of it. The fact that you, a small being on a small planet circling an ordinary star, can even ask this question, that your eyes, aided by your mind and the tools you have built, can reach across billions of years and touch the very beginning of everything, is a miracle of its own kind. A soft miracle built not on magic, but on patience, curiosity, and light. For now, let us hold on to this thought, that to see the universe is to travel in time, to stretch the imagination until it trembles, and to realize that we live not in a small world, but in an ocean of stories carried on beams of light. And this is only the beginning of our journey. To understand how far we can see, we must begin to think of space not just as distance, but as time, as history layered over itself. Everywhere you look in a night sky, every glimmer, every faint glow is a window to another age. The farther away something is, the older the story it tells. Imagine sitting by a calm lake at night. You drop a pebble into the water, ripples spread outward, wider and wider, softer as they go. Light in the universe behaves in a similar way. A star burns, a galaxy shines, and its ripples of light spread across the cosmos, traveling, always forward, at a speed that never changes. They move through space the way breath moves through air, unstoppable, patient, steady. Now imagine that lake stretching not across a park or a forest, but across all of existence. And the ripples from billions of stars, billions of galaxies, overlap upon each other, reaching your eyes here and now. This is what we see when we look up, a tapestry of ripples, stitched from every corner of space. But how far do those ripples go? The speed of light is fast, so fast that in 1 second, it circles Earth 7 times. Yet even at that incredible pace, space is vast enough that light from the most distant galaxies takes billions of years to arrive. The universe itself has been expanding all the while, stretching the path, pulling galaxies farther away, making the journey longer than the distance first suggests. So the farthest light we can see is not 13.8 billion light years away, but much farther, because the space it crossed has grown. Today, the edge of the observable universe is about 46 billion light years in every direction. Imagine a sphere so large, so beyond comprehension, that every point of its surface is 46 billion light years away from you. That is the horizon of sight. Beyond it, light has not had enough time to reach us. And here is where it becomes deeply human to reflect. We can never see beyond that horizon. No matter how powerful our telescopes become, no matter how clever our science, the observable universe is a boundary written into reality itself. It is not a wall. It is a horizon, like the line at sea where the water meets the sky. You cannot sail past it because it is not a place, it is a limit of perception. It is where seeing ends. Think of standing at the shore of an endless ocean. The water stretches so far that it merges with the sky. You cannot see the land beyond, though you know they must exist. The observable universe is like that. We see a bubble around us, filled with galaxies, stars, dust, and echoes of the Big Bang. But beyond that bubble, there is more. More galaxies, more stars, perhaps even entire realms we cannot imagine. Yet they are hidden forever, not because they do not exist, but because their light will never reach us. This realization can be both humbling and strangely comforting. Humbling, because it reminds us that no matter how advanced we become, there are truths we cannot reach. Comforting, because it means the universe always holds mystery, always carries secrets that no eye will ever pierce. The cosmos keeps part of itself veiled, like a book with its last chapters sealed shut. And yet, within the part we can see, there is wonder enough for lifetimes. Thousands of billions of galaxies, each one with hundreds of billions of stars, each star with the possibility of worlds, of stories, of suns and moons, and perhaps even life. Every point of light is a story unfolding somewhere else, a story that began long before ours, or will continue long after us. Sometimes, astronomers speak of the universe in numbers. They measure distances in light years, billions, trillions. But for most of us, the numbers dissolve into abstraction. To feel the truth of it, you must close your eyes and imagine scale not as digits, but as feelings. The awe of looking at the Milky Way stretched like a river above you. The breathless wonder of realizing that the faintest smudge in a telescope is not one star, not 10, but millions. The soft chill that runs through you when you understand that you're seeing light older than the Earth itself. This is how far we can see, as far as light has had time to travel, as far as the universe has allowed us. No farther. And yet, within that limit lies everything we know. Every history, every galaxy, every creature who has ever looked up and wondered. As we continue this journey, let us hold on to that horizon, not as a limit to frustrate us, but as a gentle reminder that to see even a fraction of the cosmos is already more than we could ever have imagined, and that the greatest gift is not only how far we can see, but that we can see it all. If we wish to understand the reach of our vision, we must look not only at distance, but at the stories told by the light itself. Because light is not just a messenger, it is also a storyteller. Each color, each faint flicker, carries with it clues of what happened along the way. Think of light as a traveler. It sets out from its home, a star, a galaxy, the very birth of the cosmos itself. It journeys across space, across emptiness, across billions of years. And along the way, it changes. The expansion of the universe stretches it, lengthens its waves, reddens its glow. When it finally reaches our telescopes, we no longer see the light as it was, we see it transformed by its journey. Like a letter weathered by time, faded at the edges, yet still holding its message. Astronomers have learned to read these ancient letters. They look at the stretched light, the so-called redshift, and from it they learn how far away a galaxy lies, how quickly the universe has grown, and even what elements burn within those distant suns. So when we ask, how far can we see, it is not just about catching the light. It is about understanding the language it speaks. A language written not in words, but in color, in energy, in faint echoes across space. Picture this. A telescope points toward a patch of sky so small, it looks empty to the naked eye. Nothing but darkness. And yet, when the Hubble Space Telescope once stared there for days, gathering every drop of light, it revealed not emptiness, but galaxies upon galaxies. Thousands of them, scattered like jewels across the black. Each one an island of stars, stretching far beyond what we can touch. That single dark speck of sky was not empty. It was crowded with history. Multiply that by the whole night sky, and the number of galaxies becomes almost too vast to say aloud. Hundreds of billions, maybe more. And here another thought comes. We see the universe as it was, not as it is. That galaxy glowing faintly in the Hubble image. Its light began traveling billions of years ago. By now, it may look entirely different. Its stars may have aged, its shape may have shifted, or perhaps it no longer exists at all. When we look at the deep sky, we are not peering at the present. We're looking at a cosmic memory preserved in light. This means the universe we see is always younger than the universe we live in. Our eyes, and even our most powerful telescopes, are time machines that only move backward. We can never see galaxies as they are right now. We can only see them as they were. The farther away they are, the farther back in time we travel. It is a strange thought that the universe has two faces. The one we inhabit, here and now, with its present stars, planets, and galaxies. And the one we can see, which is always the past, always the ghost of what once was. When we ask, how far can we see? We are asking, how far back can we remember? And in this way, our vision is not only scientific, but deeply human. We too are creatures of memory. We hold images of our past, our ancestors, our own childhoods. The stars do the same. They show us who they were, not who they are. The night sky is a family album of the cosmos, open to anyone who looks up. But here lies another limit, another layer of mystery. Beyond the galaxies, beyond the faintest smudges of starlight, there is a wall of sorts. The cosmic microwave background. It looks like a soft fog of radio light, spread evenly across the sky. But it is not fog. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang. the moment the universe cooled enough for light to move freely. About 380,000 years after everything began, the cosmic veil lifted and photons poured out. Those photons have been traveling ever since, filling the universe, whispering across billions of years until we finally built instruments sensitive enough to hear them. When we look at the cosmic microwave background, we are standing at the threshold of sight. Beyond it lies a time we cannot see, a time when a universe was opaque, filled with hot plasma, glowing but unable to release its light. Beyond that point, vision fails. The universe before the afterglow is forever hidden to our eyes. And yet, even here, at the edge of seeing, we do not stand empty-handed. For though we cannot see beyond, we can imagine. We can calculate, predict, dream. We can ask what might have happened before the light was free, before the first atoms formed, before stars ignited. This boundary does not silence us, it inspires us. For every horizon we cannot cross, there is still the wonder of knowing where it lies. We know how far our eyes reach. We know that the story of a universe stretches even farther. And perhaps that balance between seeing and mystery is exactly what makes the cosmos so alive in our minds. For now, let us pause here at the wall of the cosmic microwave background, the farthest sight we can hold. Beyond it lies darkness, not because nothing exists, but because sight itself has ended. And it is here, at the edge of seeing, that imagination must take its turn. Standing at the edge of the cosmic microwave background, we realize something profound. The universe does not reveal itself all at once. It speaks to us in layers. First the stars close by, then the galaxies, then the faintest smudges of ancient light, and finally the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. Beyond that silence, not because nothing lies there, but because the fabric of space has hidden it from our eyes. But the human spirit is restless. We are not satisfied with silence. Even when sight ends, imagination begins. So we ask, what lies beyond the edge of seeing? Some scientists suggest that the universe is far larger than the bubble we can observe. Perhaps unimaginably larger. Perhaps infinite. Our observable universe is like a room with the curtains drawn. The walls we see are not the true boundaries. They are simply how far the light has reached us in the time since the cosmos began. Beyond that curtain, there could be countless more galaxies, perhaps an endless stretch of them, continuing in every direction. To think of this is dizzying. Imagine standing in a vast forest, but holding only a lantern. The light from your lantern shows you trees around you, hundreds, thousands. But beyond the circle of your glow, the forest continues into darkness. You cannot see it, but you know it must be there. The observable universe is our lantern's glow, and the true universe, the whole forest, may stretch without end. This is where science and philosophy begin to walk hand in hand. Science tells us the numbers. 13.8 billion years of history, a horizon 46 billion light years away. But philosophy asks, what does it mean to exist inside an infinity we cannot measure? What does it mean to be creatures who can only ever glimpse a fraction of the whole? It means humility. It means awe. And perhaps it means comfort, too. Because even in our smallness, we are not excluded. We belong to the story just as much as the galaxies at the edge of sight. We are woven into the same fabric, born from the same Big Bang, carried along by the same expansion of space. To know that is to feel a kind of kinship with everything. The stars nearby, the galaxies far away, the light that has traveled across billions of years to meet our eyes. And yet, there is something else hidden in this mystery. The more we look outward, the more we are also forced to look inward. When you stare into the night sky, you're not only measuring distances, you are measuring your own place in existence. You are realizing that the mind inside your head, the heart inside your chest, is capable of stretching across billions of light years in thought. That a creature born on a small blue planet can hold the universe inside imagination. That is perhaps the greatest distance of all. Now imagine again the horizon of sight. The cosmic microwave background, glowing faintly in every direction, like the last ember of a great fire. Beyond it lies a time when no light could travel. But even here, scientists have found ways to reach deeper, not with eyes, but with instruments that listen for whispers in other forms, gravitational waves, patterns etched into matter itself. These are not things we can see directly, but things we can infer, like shadows hinting at objects beyond the firelight. And as we gather these whispers, we learn more about the first seconds of the universe, the instant when space itself expanded faster than light, the seeding of galaxies, the first sparks of order in a sea of chaos. These are not things our eyes will ever see, but in a way, our minds already do. Foreknowledge itself is a kind of vision not of light, but of understanding. So how far can we see? We can see to the edge of light itself. But through thought, through imagination, through the restless search for truth, we can glimpse farther still. We can paint pictures of a universe before light, a universe beyond horizons, a universe that stretches into infinities we may never touch. And here, a reflection. Perhaps sight itself has limits, but wonder does not. Sight shows us the stars, but wonder lets us ask what lies beyond them. Sight shows us the afterglow of the Big Bang, but wonder lets us imagine what came before. Sight may stop at the horizon of the observable universe, but wonder continues forever. Let's pause with that. The edge of sight, the boundary of the visible, is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of our imagination. And perhaps, in the end, that is what makes us human, the ability to look at the horizon and then dream of what lies beyond it. As we come to the end of this journey through sight and space, the question still lingers gently in the air. How far can we see in the universe? It is a question that has carried us through stars, through galaxies, through ancient afterglows and cosmic horizons. But before we place it back down, let us linger with it a little longer. Let's let it unfold slowly, softly, until it reveals its final shapes. When you look up at the night sky, you are not just seeing distance. You are seeing time. You are seeing memory. And in a way, you are seeing yourself. For every photon that strikes your eye has traveled a journey longer than your imagination can stretch. It left its home before you were born, before your ancestors walked, sometimes even before Earth was shaped into what we know. To see the universe is to become part of an endless exchange, a meeting point between light and life. Think of this for a moment. You, a human being, standing or sitting here now, carry in your eyes the power to connect with the beginning of time. No other creature on Earth sees in this way. Animals live under the same sky. They see the same moon, the same stars, but they do not ask how far they can see. They do not wonder what lies beyond horizons. This is something uniquely human, the desire to stretch vision beyond its limit, to turn sight into meaning. So how far can we see? We can see to the edge of the observable universe, about 46 billion light years in every direction. That is the limit written into the laws of light. Beyond that horizon, there is more, but we cannot reach it. Our lantern of vision fades, and the forest of galaxies continues in darkness. We know this, and yet, even knowing, we still wonder. And in that wondering, we see farther than light ever could. Because vision is not only a physical act, it is also a spiritual one, a philosophical one. To see is not just to receive photons. It is to imagine, to reflect, to understand. Even where sight ends, meaning continues. Beyond the horizon of light, our minds carry the torch. Close your eyes now and picture it, the universe, not as numbers, not as charts, but as an ocean. You are floating upon its surface. Around you, the water stretches in all directions. What you see is limited, the circle of the horizon, curving away from you. But you know, deep inside, that the ocean does not end where sight ends. It continues, wave after wave, world after world, farther than you can ever swim. The observable universe is that circle of horizon. But the true cosmos is the endless ocean itself. And here, perhaps, is the gift of limitation. For if the universe were entirely visible, if every corner could be seen, every mystery revealed, perhaps wonder would fade. It is the horizon itself, the unreachable edge, that keeps our curiosity alive. It is the distance we cannot see that makes us ask, makes us imagine, makes us dream. So when we ask, how far can we see in the universe, we are really asking something deeper. We are asking, how far can human wonder reach? How far can imagination stretch? How far can we dream before we meet silence? The answer is not measured in light years. It is measured in longing, and longing has no end. Think again of Earth, this small world, circling an ordinary star, in an ordinary arm of an ordinary galaxy. And yet, from here, we have seen galaxies colliding. We have seen stars born and stars dying. We have seen the faint glow of the universe's first light. We have even mapped the invisible skeleton of the cosmos, the great filaments of galaxies stretching like veins across space. From this one small place, with fragile eyes, we have stretched our sight farther than any other creature we know. And it humbles us, because the farther we see, the smaller we feel. We realize we are dust, and yet we are dust that sees. We are particles of the universe that have become conscious of the universe. We are stardust looking back at the stars. That perhaps is the farthest vision of all. And so, as we let this question finally rest, let us close not with limits, but with openings. The universe is vast, far beyond what our eyes will ever touch. Yet the light has reached us. It has crossed billions of years, oceans of silence, abysses of space, just to arrive here, now in you. To see the universe is to share in its story. And that story is not finished. It is still unfolding, still expanding, still stretching out beyond the horizon. How far can we see? As far as light allows, as far as time allows, as far as imagination allows. And in that sight, there is peace. There is awe. There is belonging. So breathe, and let the thoughts settle like starlight on still water. The horizon is far. The universe is endless. But you, here and now, are part of it all. The universe has always been a place of wonder and mystery. We look at the night sky and see countless stars scattered across the darkness. And yet we know that what we see is only the surface of something far deeper. Science has revealed many secrets about the cosmos, but there are still questions that remain unanswered. These mysteries remind us that even with all our progress, we are still only beginning to understand the vastness we live in. One of the greatest mysteries is the nature of dark matter. When astronomers look at galaxies, they see that stars at the edges move far faster than they should if gravity came only from visible matter. Something unseen is adding mass and pulling with its gravity. Scientists call it dark matter, yet they have never directly observed it. It does not shine, it does not reflect light, and it passes through ordinary matter as if it were not there. We only know it exists because of the way it shapes galaxies and bends the light of distant stars. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle where most of the pieces are invisible. That is the challenge of dark matter. Closely tied to this is another unknown called dark energy. If dark matter pulls things together, dark energy does the opposite. It pushes the universe apart. Observations show that the expansion of the universe is not slowing down as expected, but speeding up. Something mysterious is stretching space itself faster and faster with time. We do not know what it is or where it comes from, but its effect can be seen across billions of light years. Some scientists describe it as an invisible pressure, a quiet force that drives galaxies apart. Without it, the universe would look very different. Another mystery lies in the origin of the universe itself. The Big Bang Theory tells us that the universe began as a hot, dense point nearly 14 billion years ago. But what came before that moment, and why did it happen at all? These are questions science cannot yet answer. The laws of physics, as we know them, break down at the very beginning. It is as if we are reading the first pages of story, only to discover that the prologue has been erased. Some wonder if the universe was born from a quantum fluctuation. Others ask if it might be part of a larger cycle of creation and collapse. Whatever the truth, the beginning of everything remains hidden. As we travel through space with our imagination, we also wonder about the possibility of other universes. The idea of a multiverse is both fascinating and unsettling. If our universe is just one bubble in an endless sea of universes, then reality is far larger than we ever dreamed. These other universes might have different laws of physics, different forms of matter, perhaps even no stars or galaxies at all. For now, the multiverse remains an idea, a possibility at the edge of science. Yet it lingers because it helps explain why our universe seems so finely tuned for life. We also face the mystery of black holes. These cosmic giants form when massive stars collapse under their own weight. Their gravity becomes so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. At their heart lies what physicists call a singularity, a point where density becomes infinite and the known laws of physics break apart. What really happens inside a black hole remains hidden. Some believe they may connect to other regions of space or even to other universes. Others think the singularity may be a clue to new laws of nature we have not yet discovered. For now, they remain cosmic secrets cloaked in darkness. Time itself adds to the puzzle. We experience time as a steady flow, yet in the universe, time is not constant. Einstein showed us that time bends and stretches with gravity. Near a black hole, time slows down compared to the rest of the universe. At the speed of light, time would stop altogether. But what is time really? Is it a fundamental part of the universe, or just something our minds perceive to make sense of change? These questions lead us deeper into the mystery of existence itself. Then there's the question of life beyond Earth. Our planet is just one world orbiting one star among billions. The conditions for life may exist on countless others. Yet so far, the universe has been silent. This puzzle is known as the Fermi paradox. If life is common, why have we not seen any clear signs of it? Perhaps intelligent civilizations are rare. Perhaps they do not last long. Or maybe they are out there, but separated from us by vast distances and time. Until we discover evidence, the question of whether we are alone remains one of the greatest mysteries of all. Another unknown surrounds the shape and fate of the universe. We can see billions of light years in every direction, but we do not know if the universe is truly infinite. It may curve back on itself like the surface of a sphere or stretch endlessly without edge. The final destiny is equally uncertain. Will the expansion continue forever until galaxies drift so far apart that the universe grows cold and dark? Will gravity one day pull everything back in a great collapse? Or will dark energy change over time and lead to a future we cannot yet imagine? Even the most basic question of why the universe exists at all has no answer. Why is there something instead of nothing? Science can describe the workings of nature, but the reason for existence itself slips through our fingers. It is the deepest mystery of all, one that may never be solved by equations or experiments. When we reflect on these questions, it is easy to feel small. Yet there is also comfort in the mystery. The fact that we do not have all the answers means there is always more to discover. Each mystery is an invitation to explore further, to keep asking, to keep reaching. The universe holds its secrets not to keep us away, but to remind us that knowledge is an endless journey. And so we look up at the stars with wonder. We see not only what science has explained, but also the vast unknown that lies beyond. These mysteries remind us that the universe is not finished. It is alive with questions, waiting for future generations to uncover. And as we continue to explore, we carry with us the understanding that the unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It is the very reason the night sky fills us with awe, and why the universe will always feel like a story still unfolding. The mysteries of the universe are not only distant. Some of them are hidden within the very matter that makes us. When scientists look deep inside atoms, they find particles that seem to defy explanation. The proton, one of the basic building blocks of matter, should be simple, yet it is not. Inside, smaller particles called quarks swirl in constant motion, held together by forces we barely understand. Why these particles exist, why they have the masses they do, and why they form the world around us, remain questions at the heart of physics. Even stranger are the neutrinos. These ghostly particles pass through everything around us without leaving a trace. Trillions move through your body every second, yet you do not feel them. For decades, scientists thought neutrinos were weightless. Then experiments revealed they do have a tiny mass. This small detail shakes the very foundation of physics because it means our theories are incomplete. Neutrinos are a reminder that the smallest things can open the largest mysteries. Another puzzle lies in the asymmetry of matter and antimatter. When the universe began, it should have produced equal amounts of both. Matter and antimatter destroy each other when they meet, turning into pure energy. Yet for reasons we do not understand, matter won. Antimatter is rare, while the stars and galaxies are built from matter alone. Without this imbalance, there would be no planets, no life, and no one to ask these questions. What caused the universe to favor matter is still one of the great unknowns. We also wonder about the structure of space itself. To the eye, space looks empty, a silent darkness between stars. But at the smallest scales, space may not be empty at all. Some theories suggest that space is filled with quantum fluctuations, tiny bursts of energy appearing and vanishing in the blink of an instant. Others imagine space as woven from invisible threads, a cosmic fabric that bends and vibrates. If true, then space itself is alive with activity, hidden from view, but essential to the way the universe works. Gravity, too, holds mysteries. We understand how it behaves on large scales. It keeps planets in orbit, shapes galaxies, and binds the cosmos together. But when we try to connect gravity with the quantum world of particles, the two ideas clash. The theory of everything that scientists dream of, a single explanation that unites all forces, has not yet been found. Gravity stands as the missing piece of the puzzle, whispering that the laws of nature are deeper than we know. Cosmic inflation adds another layer of mystery. This theory suggests that in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, the universe expanded faster than the speed of light. In that instant, tiny quantum fluctuations were stretched to cosmic scales, planting the seeds of galaxies. Yet we do not know what drove this expansion, or if it even happened exactly as we think. Inflation may hold the key to the very shape of the cosmos, but it remains one of the most mysterious chapters in the story of creation. As we lift our gaze outward, we also find mysteries in the stars themselves. Some stars pulse like cosmic beacons, flashing in rhythms we do not fully understand. Others explode in violent supernovae, creating elements that build planets and life. Among the strangest are neutron stars, remnants of collapsed stars packed so tightly that a teaspoon of their matter would weigh billions of tons. Some spin so fast they flash like lighthouses across the galaxy. The physics inside them is beyond anything we can recreate on Earth, and so they remain laboratories of mystery written across the night sky. Beyond even the stars lie phenomena called fast radio bursts. These are sudden, powerful flashes of radio waves coming from deep space. They last only a fraction of a second, yet release more energy than the sun does in days. Their origins are still unknown. Some may come from neutron stars, others from events we have not yet imagined. Each burst is like a cosmic whisper, reminding us that the universe still holds surprises. And then there are the cosmic voids. These vast regions of almost empty space stretch for hundreds of millions of light years. They contain few galaxies, few stars, and almost no matter at all. Why such immense emptiness exists alongside crowded clusters of galaxies is a mystery of cosmic architecture. The universe seems to weave both fullness and emptiness together, as if balance is part of its very design. As we continue to map the cosmos, we realize how much is hidden beyond our reach. The light we see has traveled for billions of years. We are looking not at the universe as it is, but as it once was. Beyond the horizon of what we can see may lie regions forever hidden, cut off by the speed of light and the expansion of space. What lies out there beyond the observable universe is something we may never know. Yet the thought that the universe stretches farther than we can ever see fills the mind with awe. All of these mysteries remind us that science is not only about answers. It is about questions. Each discovery opens new doors, and behind them lie more unknowns. The universe is a vast book, and we have only read the first few pages. What makes the story beautiful is not only what we understand, but also what still waits in silence, inviting us to look deeper. The universe also holds mysteries in the way it creates order out of chaos. Galaxies spin with elegant patterns, yet they are born from turbulent clouds of gas and dust. Stars emerge from chaos as well, condensing from swirling nebulae into brilliant suns that light their surroundings. How does the universe guide this transition from disorder to beauty? The laws of physics provide part of the answer, yet the deeper reason why the cosmos tends towards such structure remains elusive. When we look closer at galaxies themselves, more mysteries appear. Some galaxies are immense spirals with arms reaching across hundreds of thousands of light years. Others are small and irregular, as if shaped by unseen forces. Some collide and merge, creating new forms altogether. Astronomers can describe these events, but why the universe has chosen such variety is a question with no simple answer. Galaxies are the handwriting of the cosmos, and their shapes may carry secrets about the forces that shaped them. Another enigma comes from the alignment of the universe on the largest scales. Some studies suggest that the way galaxies cluster or the direction of certain cosmic patterns may show strange alignments across distances too vast to imagine. If confirmed, it could mean that the universe is not entirely random. It may carry imprints from its earliest moments, or even hints of structures beyond what we can see. The thought that the universe might have a hidden design is both mysterious and humbling. We also face the puzzle of cosmic rays. These are high-energy particles that race through space at nearly the speed of light. They strike our atmosphere constantly, coming from distant galaxies, exploding stars, or perhaps even more exotic sources. Some are so powerful that scientists cannot explain how they were accelerated to such speeds. They arrive without warning, invisible to the eye, yet they carry the mark of distant, violent events in the cosmos. Closer to home, the planets of our own solar system also hold mysteries. Venus, almost the twin of Earth in size, is a world of burning heat and thick clouds of acid. Why two planets born so close ended up so different is still being studied. Mars, cold and dry today, once had rivers and lakes. Did life ever take hold there? And if so, where did it go? Even the outer planets hide secrets. Jupiter and Saturn radiate more heat than they receive from the sun, as if something inside still burns. Uranus tilts strangely on its side, and Neptune has winds faster than any hurricane on Earth. The planets remind us that mystery does not only lie in the distant stars, but right here in our cosmic neighborhood. The moons of the solar system are even more surprising. Europa, a moon of Jupiter, is covered in ice, but may have a vast ocean beneath. Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, shoots plumes of water vapor into space, hinting at hidden seas. Titan has rivers and lakes, not of water, but of liquid methane, creating landscapes that echo Earth in a completely alien form. Each of these moons could hold the ingredients for life, and each one deepens the question of whether we are truly alone. Beyond planets and moons, comets and asteroids carry their own mysteries. These icy and rocky bodies are leftovers from the birth of the solar system. They may hold clues to how water arrived on Earth and how the first organic molecules formed. Some carry unusual shapes and orbits that puzzle scientists. Others strike planets and moons, shaping their surfaces with craters. They are reminders that the story of creation is still written in stone and ice, drifting through space. Even our own sun holds secrets. We know it as the source of warmth and light, but its inner workings are not fully understood. The way energy moves from its core to the surface, the way it produces sudden storms and flares, and the mysterious outer layer called the corona, which is hotter than the surface itself, remain puzzles. The sun is the nearest star, yet it still hides mysteries that scientists are trying to solve. When we think about all these unknowns, from the smallest particles to the largest structures, from the distant galaxies to the planets nearby, a pattern emerges. The universe is not a finished picture. It is a living mystery, always unfolding, always revealing more than we expect. Each discovery leads to another question, and each question draws us deeper into the story of existence. The mysteries of the universe do not diminish our place within it. They enrich it. They remind us that we are part of something vast and unfinished, a story still being written. As we continue to explore with telescopes, with spacecraft, and with the quiet wonder of our minds, we are not just searching for answers. We are learning to see the universe as it truly is, a place of infinite depth and endless mystery. The mysteries of the universe are not only written in the stars above us, but also in the fabric of reality itself. When physicists study the quantum world, they find rules that seem almost impossible. Particles can exist in two places at once. They can be connected across space in ways that defy distance, a phenomenon called entanglement. These ideas have been proven by experiment, yet we do not truly understand why the universe behaves this way. It is as if nature is speaking in a language we only partly understand, offering glimpses of a deeper order hidden beneath what we see. This mystery connects to the search for a unified theory of physics. On one side, we have quantum mechanics, which explains the smallest scales of particles and atoms. On the other side, we have general relativity, which explains the largest scales of stars and galaxies. Each theory works beautifully in its own realm. Yet when we try to bring them together, they refuse to fit. Somewhere, there must be a deeper law that unites them, a single framework that explains both the vastness of space and the tiniest flicker of energy. The search for this theory is one of the greatest quests in science, and it continues to this day. Another question that lingers is the arrow of time. We experience time as a flow that moves only forward. The past lies behind us. The future lies ahead. Yet the laws of physics do not require time to flow this way. They allow motion both forward and backward. Why then do we only move in one direction? Some scientists point to entropy, the natural tendency for disorder to increase, as the reason. Others believe time itself may be more mysterious than we can imagine. Perhaps time is not a river at all, but a landscape where past, present, and future all exist together, and our minds are simply walking one path through it. The universe also presents the puzzle of fine-tuning. Many of the constants of nature, like the strength of gravity or the charge of the electron, seem to have just the right values for life to exist. If they were slightly different, stars might not form or atoms might not hold together. Why the universe allows life is a question without a clear answer. Some suggest it is chance. Others imagine countless universes with different rules, where we happen to live in the one that permits life. Whatever the explanation, the fine-tuning of the cosmos remains one of the most profound mysteries we face. We also wonder about consciousness itself. Here on Earth, life evolved to a point where the universe began to look back at itself through human eyes. We can think, feel, and reflect on the very cosmos that made us. Yet science does not fully understand what consciousness is or how it arises from the matter of the brain. If consciousness is unique to Earth, then we may be a rare phenomenon in the cosmos. If it can arise elsewhere, then the universe may be alive with minds beyond our own. Either way, the existence of awareness within a vast and silent universe is a mystery that touches both science and philosophy. The future of exploration adds another layer to these questions. We have only just begun to send probes beyond our solar system. The Voyager spacecraft, now drifting in interstellar space, carry with them golden records of human sounds and images. They are like messages in a cosmic bottle, set adrift on an endless ocean. Whether they are ever found or remain silent travelers forever, they remind us that our reach is still small compared to the vastness around us. The mystery lies in how far we will go and what we will one day discover. Even the act of observing the universe contains mystery. The more deeply we look, the more we realize that observation itself changes what we know. Light takes time to travel, so every image we capture of a distant galaxy shows us the past, not the present. In a way, our telescopes are also time machines, letting us witness events billions of years old. But what is happening right now, at the farthest reaches, remains hidden. The universe is always ahead of us, unfolding faster than we can catch. When we gather all these mysteries together, they form a picture that is both humbling and inspiring. We do not have all the answers, and perhaps we never will. Yet the unknown is not a barrier. It is a horizon. Each unanswered question is an invitation to explore, to wonder, to keep reaching for understanding. And in that search, we find not only knowledge, but meaning. The biggest mysteries of the universe remind us that existence is larger than any one answer. They remind us that the cosmos is not just a place we live in, but a story we are part of. A story without an ending, with pages still waiting to be turned. As we reflect on these mysteries, it becomes clear that the universe is not just a place to be studied. It is a mirror that shows us who we are. Every discovery, every unanswered question, carries with it a quiet reminder of our own journey. We are creatures made from stardust, bound together by forces we cannot see, living on a small world that floats in an ocean of galaxies. And yet, within us exists the ability to wonder, to imagine, and to seek meaning in the unknown. The beauty of the universe is not only in its answers, but in its silence. The night sky does not speak in words. It speaks through light, through the rhythm of stars, through the deep stillness that stretches between galaxies. It tells us that there is always more than meets the eye, always more than what we can measure. This silence is not emptiness. It is possibility. It is the space where imagination lives and where future discoveries wait to be found. We may never know all the answers. There may always be edges of the universe beyond our reach and truths too deep for us to hold. But this is not a defeat. It is a gift. The mysteries give us purpose. They push us to explore, to create, and to continue asking questions that lead us further into the story of existence. Without the unknown, there would be no wonder. Without wonder, there would be no reason to look up at the stars at all. Even as science advances, the greatest mystery of all may be the simple fact that we are here to witness it. Out of all the countless stars and endless galaxies, life has emerged in at least one corner of the cosmos, and with it, a mind capable of looking back at the universe in awe. This may be the most extraordinary truth of all, that the universe has given rise to beings who can feel wonder, who can search for meaning, and who can tell stories about its mysteries. And so, as we continue our journey, we carry with us both knowledge and curiosity. We know much more than those who came before us. Yet we also see more clearly how much remains hidden. The mysteries of dark matter, of dark energy, of time, of life beyond Earth, and of the very reason for existence, all remain open. They're not barriers, but horizons, waiting for those who will come after us to reach a little farther. The universe is vast, timeless, and full of secrets. It does not give up its truths easily, but always leaves traces, whispers, and glimpses for us to follow. We may never finish the story, but perhaps that is the point. The journey itself is what matters. The act of wondering, of seeking, of being part of something greater than ourselves. As we look up tonight, let us remember that the stars are not only distant lights. They are reminders. Reminders that we are part of something infinite. Reminders that mystery is not to be feared, but to be cherished. Because it is in the mystery that life finds its meaning. It is in the unknown that we discover wonder. And it is in wonder that we find ourselves most deeply connected to the universe that made us. The universe is not still. It is alive with motion. Everything we see in the night sky is moving, even though to our eyes it looks calm and silent. Stars drift across the vastness, galaxies swirl in great spirals, and even the space that holds them is stretching. To imagine this movement, we must first step back and see the universe not as a still picture, but as a grand river flowing endlessly. Our own planet gives us the first hint of this dance. Earth spins gently on its axis, completing one turn every 24 hours. This simple rotation carries us through night and day. And though we do not feel it, we are moving at more than 1,000 kilometers every hour. As the Earth spins, it also circles the sun in a long elliptical path, taking a full year to complete the journey. That orbit pulls us through space at nearly 100,000 kilometers every hour. Already we are travelers far faster than we can truly imagine. Yet the sun itself is not fixed in place. It belongs to a vast spiral of stars called the Milky Way. And like all the stars in this galaxy, it is pulled by gravity to orbit the galactic center. Our sun and its planets drift along a gentle curve that will take more than 200 million years to finish a single circle. It is a journey we have only just begun, and every star around us shares this slow cosmic migration. If we could step outside the Milky Way and look from above, we would see billions of stars like shining sparks swirling around the center, tracing graceful spirals across time. Our solar system would appear as a tiny light drifting along one of the galaxy's arms, quietly keeping pace with countless others. But even the galaxy is not still. The Milky Way is moving through a greater ocean of space, drawn toward nearby clusters of galaxies. Alongside the great Andromeda Galaxy, we are part of a small family called the Local Group. These galaxies move together, bound by their combined gravity, flowing like a school of fish through a cosmic sea. Slowly but inevitably, the Milky Way and Andromeda are on a collision course, set to merge in billions of years, forming a single, larger galaxy. It will not be a violent crash as we imagine, but a slow blending where stars and planets drift past one another, rarely colliding, reshaping into something new. Beyond our local group lies the Laniakea supercluster, an immense web of thousands of galaxies. Imagine rivers of light flowing together, bending and weaving, all pulled toward great centers of gravity. Our local group is one stream among many, drifting toward a mysterious region known as the Great Attractor. This invisible pull draws whole clusters of galaxies toward it, showing us that even on the largest scales, nothing stands still. Everything is part of a grand cosmic current, and still there is a deeper motion. The very fabric of space is expanding, stretching like a balloon being gently inflated. Galaxies far away are not just moving through space, they are being carried apart as space itself grows. The farther we look, the faster they drift away, as if the universe is opening wider with every passing moment. This expansion began with the Big Bang nearly 14 billion years ago, and it continues today, shaping the ultimate fate of everything. To think about these layers of motion can feel overwhelming, yet it is also comforting. We are part of this endless journey, carried along without effort. Every breath we take, every step we make, happens on a planet that is spinning, circling, drifting, and soaring through a universe that never rests. Still, it feels calm, because motion on such vast scales is gentle, steady, and beyond our sense of speed. Picture yourself lying under a clear night sky. The stars seem fixed, eternal, unchanging. But in truth, each one is on a path, gliding silently through the galaxy. Over millions of years, the shapes of constellations will twist and dissolve as the stars slowly shift their positions. Even the North Star, which seems steady, is only temporarily in its place, and one day another star will guide the way north. Time smooths these changes, so we see only the illusion of stillness. When we reflect on how the universe moves, we see a pattern of harmony. Small motions connect to larger ones, and larger ones connect to greater flows beyond them. Earth spins and orbits the sun. The sun drifts through the Milky Way. The Milky Way sails through its cluster. The cluster joins a supercluster, and a supercluster is carried by the expansion of space itself. Every level of existence is part of something wider, moving together like currents within a boundless sea. What makes this story remarkable is that we, tiny beings on a small planet, are able to see and understand a glimpse of this motion. Through observation and reflection, we discover that we are not at the center, yet we are not apart either. We belong fully to the universe, carried along with the same grace as stars and galaxies. There is a quiet beauty in knowing we are never truly still. Our lives, our histories, our thoughts, all unfold while we journey through the cosmos. And so, when you look at the night sky, let yourself feel the depth of that journey. The light of distant stars took thousands or millions of years to reach you, shining across space that is itself moving and changing. The simple act of seeing starlight is a reminder that we are connected to a vast story of motion, where nothing is lost, only transformed, carried forward into the endless expanse. The universe moves, and we move with it. Not rushed, not hurried, but with a timeless rhythm that stretches across ages. To understand this is to feel both humble and deeply at peace. Because in this infinite motion, we find our place, a small part of a great unfolding, traveling together through the quiet wonder of space. If we follow the path of motion deeper, we begin to see the hidden forces that shape it. Gravity is the quiet guide of this journey. It pulls stars together into galaxies, and galaxies into clusters. It bends the path of light itself, curving it around massive objects as though space were a soft fabric. This invisible hand holds the universe in its flowing form. It is not the only force at work. There is also dark matter, a presence we cannot see but can feel in its effects. Galaxies spin so quickly that their stars should fly apart. Yet something unseen holds them together. That something is dark matter, spread like a vast web throughout the cosmos. Imagine a net stretched across space, invisible threads binding galaxies to one another. It does not shine, it does not burn, yet it carries mass, and its gravity anchors the great structures we see. Because of it, the Milky Way moves as part of this wider web, drawn along invisible currents we can sense but not touch. Then there is dark energy, an even greater mystery. While gravity pulls matter together, dark energy seems to push space apart. It drives the expansion of the universe faster and faster, stretching galaxies away from one another as though space itself were breathing outward. In the far future, distant galaxies will drift beyond our sight, their light stretched until it disappears. The universe will feel emptier, yet the motion will continue, silent and unstoppable. It reminds us that the universe is not fixed, but always changing, always moving into new forms. When we speak of motion, we must remember that it is not only physical, but also a passage of time. Just as Earth spins and orbits, time itself carries us forward. A star is born from a cloud of gas. It burns with light for millions or billions of years, and eventually it fades, collapsing or scattering its elements back into space. That cycle, too, is a kind of motion. Matter moves from one form to another, from star to dust, from dust to planets, from planets to life. Even we are part of this rhythm. The atoms in our bodies were forged in the hearts of ancient stars, carried across space, gathered into new worlds, and now they move again in the form of living beings. We are not separate travelers. We are the motion itself. Consider the cosmic web, the largest structure we know. It stretches across billions of light years, a lace of glowing galaxies connected by filaments of dark matter. If you could step far enough away, The universe would appear as a vast network, like roots of a tree or veins of light spread across endless darkness. Within this web, rivers of galaxies flow, drifting toward clusters where gravity is strongest. Each cluster is like a city of stars, glowing brightly against the emptiness. Our Milky Way is only a small town on the edge of this grand design, yet it moves in harmony with the whole. Sometimes it helps to imagine the universe as an ocean. Galaxies are like islands, carried by the waves of expanding space. Some drift closer, pulled by gravity into mergers, while others drift farther away, carried by the swell of dark energy. And like sailors, we are passengers on a small ship, moving through waters so vast that they seem still, yet they are always flowing. The motion of a universe is not chaotic. It is ordered in ways that reveal patterns. Spiral galaxies turn like great pinwheels. Elliptical galaxies glide like glowing clouds. Clusters orbit their centers, and superclusters stretch in strands across the cosmos. The dance has no conductor, yet it follows laws as steady as breath. That steadiness is what allows us to predict the paths of planets, the orbits of stars, even the fate of galaxies billions of years from now. We can trust the rhythm of the cosmos because it is written into the very nature of space and time. Still, within that grand predictability, there is wonder. Every orbit, every drift, every expansion brings new shapes, new stories. When two galaxies pass near each other, their stars and gas swirl into long tidal tails, streams of light stretching across millions of light years. When stars are born in clouds of gas, the galaxy itself shifts, brightening with new light. Motion creates change, and change creates beauty. And so the universe moves, not in silence, but in harmony with time. From the spin of an atom to the turning of galaxies, every scale of reality is in motion. To notice this is to feel connected, as though we are listening to a quiet music that has no beginning and no end. It is a music we belong to, carried along gently, always flowing, always becoming something more. If we look into the far future, the motion of the universe becomes a story of transformation. Galaxies that are now separate will slowly drift together. The Milky Way and Andromeda, though millions of light years apart, are already on a path that will bring them into one another's arms. Over billions of years, they will merge into a single, larger galaxy. To us it may sound violent, but in the vastness of space the stars will mostly slip past each other, like dancers moving gracefully without colliding. Only their paths will change, curved into new orbits, creating a galaxy reshaped yet still moving with calm rhythm. As time stretches onward, the motion of stars will also change. The youngest stars, bright and hot, will burn through their fuel quickly and fade. Older stars, steady and gentle like our sun, will expand into giants before releasing their outer layers. The gas and dust they leave behind will seed new stars, continuing the cycle. Every collapse, every explosion, every quiet death is part of the universe's flow, carrying matter from one form into another. Even in endings, there is movement, because nothing in the cosmos is truly still. The future of cosmic motion is also shaped by the expansion of space. Today we know that the universe is not slowing down. It is expanding faster and faster, carried by the mysterious push of dark energy. Galaxies beyond our local cluster drift away at increasing speed. In billions of years, distant galaxies will vanish beyond our sight, their light stretched until it can no longer reach us. To future observers, the universe may seem emptier, a lonely sea with fewer lights upon its surface. Yet the motion will continue, unseen but ever present, carrying everything outward like ripples moving across an endless pond. If we follow this story even further, we reach a time when galaxies grow quiet. Star formation slows as the raw material for new stars is used up. The brilliant spirals we see today will fade into dimmer collections of older stars. One by one, those stars will burn out, leaving behind white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. The great currents of gravity will still shape their paths, but the light will grow rarer. The universe will not end with a sudden stop, but with a slow transformation into a quieter, darker place, where motion continues without the bright glow we know today. Black holes will remain as the engines of motion in that distant era. They will drift through galaxies, consuming matter that comes too close, warping space and time around them. Even they're not eternal. Over unimaginable spans of time, black holes may evaporate through a process we only partly understand, releasing their energy back into the universe. When that happens, motion will still not end. It will simply take on another form, spreading into the fabric of space itself. This vision of the far future may seem cold, yet it carries a kind of peace. The universe does not rush. Its changes unfold across billions and trillions of years, with a patience beyond human measure. To know that we are part of this great motion is to feel both small and deeply connected. Our lives are brief compared to the lifespan of stars, yet the atoms within us will continue their journey long after we are gone. They will travel in new forms, joining new stories in the endless flow. And still, while the future stretches into mystery, the present moment is full of motion that we can feel. The Earth turning beneath our feet, the sun carrying us through the galaxy itself sailing through the cosmic web. Each instant we are part of a journey that began before we were born and will continue long after. We are passengers, but also participants, aware of the motion that shapes us. Awareness is what gives it meaning. To know that the universe moves, and to know that we move with it, is to feel the quiet beauty of belonging. When we look closely at the universe, we find that motion is not random, but woven into repeating cycles. Stars are born in great clouds of gas and dust called nebulae. These clouds drift silently through galaxies, shaped by gravity and stirred by the winds of ancient stars. In their depths, matter gathers, clumping together until the pressure ignites a new flame. A star is born, glowing with light that will travel across space for millions of years. That light is motion too, a stream of energy flowing outward, carrying warmth and information to all who see it. As stars live and die, they enrich the galaxy around them. A massive star may end its life in a brilliant supernova, scattering heavy elements across space. Those elements drift, settle, and later form into new stars, planets, and even life. In this way, motion is not only a path, but a cycle, endlessly transforming what already exists into something new. The breath of one star becomes the seed of another. The dust of dead stars becomes the soil of new worlds. Even here on Earth, the iron in our blood and the calcium in our bones were forged long ago in the heart of a star that lived and moved before our sun was born. Galaxies themselves echo this cycle. Spirals are shaped by motion, their arms stretched by the rotation of stars and gas. When galaxies meet, their forms twist and blend, creating new shapes. Streams of stars flow outward, bridges of light linking one galaxy to another. Over time, these streams settle, and a new galaxy emerges, born from the merging of many. Motion reshapes the universe on every scale, from the smallest particle to the largest cluster of galaxies. What is remarkable is how often these patterns in the cosmos mirror the patterns we see in nature here on Earth. Rivers carve paths that resemble the filaments of galaxies. Clouds drift and swirl in ways that look like the birthplaces of stars. Even the circulation of air and water on our planet carries echoes of the spirals we see in space. It is as if motion follows a universal rhythm, repeated in endless variations, from the smallest to the greatest. The cosmos is vast, yet it speaks in patterns that feel familiar, almost intimate. If you imagine standing on the edge of a nebula, you would see rivers of glowing gas slowly flowing, collapsing under gravity, twisting into new forms. It would look alive, like a tide rolling in slow motion. If you could watch a galaxy from above, over millions of years, its arms would drift like a giant whirlpool, carrying countless stars through their orbits. And if you could watch the universe itself from outside time, you would see it expanding, clustering, flowing, always shifting, yet always balanced in its own mysterious way. There is comfort in knowing that we are part of these cycles. Our lives rise and fall like the motion of stars, brief in comparison to cosmic time, yet essential in the grand flow. Just as galaxies are made of countless stars, the story of humanity is made of countless lives, each moving forward, each adding to the whole. To reflect on this is to feel less alone, because we are joined to something immeasurably vast, moving together through a universe that has always been in motion and always will be. The universe moves not only with gravity and energy, but with a kind of quiet poetry. Its cycles are patient, repeating across ages. Its patterns are graceful, flowing without haste. Even in the silence of space, there's a rhythm, like a heartbeat too deep and slow for us to hear, yet present all the same. We are carried within that rhythm, and when we pause to notice it, the universe feels alive with meaning. When we think about motion, it is easy to picture planets circling stars or galaxies drifting through space, yet there's another kind of motion that touches us even more closely. It is the motion of time, the current that carries our awareness forward from one moment to the next. Just as the Earth cannot pause in its orbit, our lives cannot pause in their flow. Each second arrives, each second passes, and we are carried gently forward, as if floating on a river whose source and destination we cannot see. Awareness itself feels like motion. Thoughts rise, linger for a breath, and then dissolve. Memories appear, fade, and make space for new ones. Emotions come and go like waves rolling onto a shore. Even stillness, when we close our eyes and feel calm, is not truly still, because beneath the quiet our minds are moving, our hearts are beating, and the universe is continuing its journey around us. In this way, consciousness is another reflection of the great rhythm that governs stars and galaxies. We too are currents within a wider sea. It can be comforting to see our awareness as part of the same unfolding that guides the cosmos. Just as galaxies move within clusters and clusters within superclusters, our lives move within families, communities, and generations. We are shaped by what came before us, and we shape what comes after, carrying the motion of human story forward through time. Each life may feel small, yet it is never isolated, because it adds to the pattern of something greater, just as a single star adds to the beauty of the Milky Way. The passage of time is sometimes described as an arrow, always pointing forward, yet it may be better to see it as a flow. Rivers bend and shift, sometimes moving swiftly, sometimes drifting slowly, yet always continuing. Our lives follow a similar path. Childhood flows into adulthood. Joy flows into sorrow and back again. Endings flow into beginnings. This flow is not separate from the motion of the universe. It is the same story told on a smaller scale, repeating across every level of existence. If we look to the stars, we can imagine how awareness itself is made of cosmic history. The atoms that allow us to think and feel were born in the explosions of ancient stars. The very energy that fires our neurons is a continuation of light released billions of years ago. To be conscious is to be the universe knowing itself, moving not only through space, but through understanding. Every idea, every reflection, every moment of wonder is part of this deeper motion, where the cosmos becomes aware of its own existence through us. Sometimes the immensity of a universe can feel overwhelming. The distances are too vast, the timescales too long, the force is too immense for us to truly grasp. Yet when we realize that we are not separate from this immensity, but participants in it, the feeling shifts from fear to peace. We are not standing outside the universe trying to understand it. We are inside it, carried by its currents, made of its elements, guided by its laws. The same gravity that moves galaxies also keeps our feet on the ground. The same time that ages stars also carries our days. We are woven into the same fabric, without boundary, without exception. If you imagine the universe as a vast symphony, galaxies are the deep notes, clusters are the harmonies, and stars are the bright melodies. Human lives may seem like small whispers within that music, but whispers are not less important than songs. They are part of the whole, adding subtle beauty to the larger sound. In this way, awareness is the voice of the cosmos made intimate, a quiet note in a song that began billions of years ago and still continues without pause. The future of this motion remains mysterious. Scientists imagine different possibilities. Perhaps the expansion of space will go on forever, carrying galaxies farther and farther apart until only darkness remains. Perhaps one day gravity will slow the expansion and pull everything back together. Or perhaps new physics we do not yet understand will change the story in ways we cannot predict. Whatever the fate, motion will remain at the heart of it, because to exist is to move, and to move is to continue. For us, in the present, the gift is awareness. To feel the earth moving beneath us. To know that every star above is traveling on its own path. To sense that even silence is full of change. When we notice this, we are no longer separate observers. We are companions of the stars, fellow travelers through the endless night. We may not control the great currents of the cosmos, but we can open our eyes and hearts to them. And in doing so, we find belonging. So let us imagine ourselves floating through this vast sea, our planet a small vessel, our galaxy a great tide, the universe an infinite ocean. We are carried forward without fear, because the same motion that guides galaxies guides us too. There is no need to rush, no need to grasp, because the journey is already underway, steady and unbroken. All we must do is notice it, feel it, and allow ourselves to be part of it. And when we look up at the night sky, the motion of the universe is not hidden. It is written in every star, in every glowing band of the Milky Way, in every faint galaxy drifting across the darkness. To look at the sky is to see not just points of light, but the story of movement itself. A story that began long before us and will continue long after, yet one that we are forever inside. Look up at the night sky. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness. And slowly, stars begin to reveal themselves. At first, they look like scattered pinpoints of white, tiny sparks gently burning on a blanket of black. But if you stay there long enough, letting the quiet of the night surround you, you begin to feel something deeper. You realize that every one of those little lights is a sun, a star shining across the emptiness of space. Many of them are so far away that it almost feels impossible that we could ever see them at all. And yet, there they are, steady and constant. How can this be? How is it that from our small place here on Earth, we can see stars and galaxies that are unimaginably far? The answer begins with light itself. Light is the traveler of the cosmos. It is the messenger that carries information from the distant universe to us. It moves at the fastest speed known in nature, 300,000 kilometers every second, so fast that it can circle the Earth more than 7 times in a single heartbeat. And yet, even at this incredible speed, space is so vast that light takes time to reach us. The sunlight that warms your face on a bright afternoon is not from a sun as it is right now, backslash. It is sunlight from 8 minutes ago, because that is how long it takes light to cross the 150 million kilometers between us and our star. Now, imagine the nearest star beyond our sun, Proxima Centauri. It is so far away that the light you see from it tonight left that star more than 4 years ago. You're not seeing it as it is now, backslash, but as it was 4 years in the past. And then think of the Andromeda Galaxy, a great swirling island of stars, drifting through the cosmos beyond the Milky Way. Its light takes over 2 million years to reach us. That means the faint glow we see in the night sky tonight began its journey when there were no humans on Earth, when early ancestors of humanity had not yet walked upright. This is the first secret of how we can see so far into space. Light preserves the past. It keeps traveling long after it leaves its source, carrying with it a snapshot of what once was. When you look at the stars above you, you're looking back through time. You're seeing ancient stories written in light. Each star, each galaxy, is like a time capsule, delivering to us a message that began long ago. But if light is the messenger, then our eyes are the receivers. And as marvelous as our eyes are, they are small. Our pupils open wide in the dark, but they still gather only a tiny amount of light. That is why the farther a star or galaxy is, the dimmer it appears, and eventually, the light becomes too faint for us to see it all. This is where human curiosity changed everything. We built telescopes, great machines of glass and mirrors, designed to catch far more light than our eyes could ever gather. A telescope is like giving your eye a vast mirror instead of a tiny pupil. Suddenly, the amount of light you can collect multiplies, and the universe begins to open up. Imagine standing in the rain, holding out just your hand. You catch a few drops at a time, but if you hold out a wide bucket, you gather many times more. That is what telescopes do with starlight. They catch it, they collect it, and they focus it so we can see things far beyond the limits of our eyes. Centuries ago, Galileo lifted a small telescope to the sky, and for the first time, the heavens revealed their hidden details. He saw that Jupiter had moons circling it. He saw that Saturn was surrounded by a strange set of rings, and he discovered that the soft band of the Milky Way was not a cloud at all, but countless stars packed so densely together that to the naked eye they blended into a glowing river of light. That was just the beginning. As telescopes grew larger and more powerful, we saw farther and deeper. We discovered that stars were born in vast clouds of gas and dust. We saw galaxies swirling with billions of suns, and we began to realize that the universe was far grander than anyone had ever imagined. But even Earth itself places limits on what we can see. The air above us, though vital to our lives, bends and blurs starlight. It causes stars to twinkle, but it also hides faint details. So humanity took an even bolder step. We sent telescopes into space itself, beyond the veil of the atmosphere. The Hubble Space Telescope became our window into the deep universe. For over 30 years, it has gathered the faintest light, revealing galaxies so distant that their light has been traveling for more than 13 billion years. That is almost the age of the universe itself. Think of that for a moment. The faintest points of light that Hubble captured began their journey before Earth had even formed, before the sun had been born. They are messages from the dawn of time, carried across an ocean of space, waiting billions of years until we finally built an eye strong enough to see them. And so when you stand beneath the night sky, remember, you're not only looking outward into space, you're looking backward into history. The universe itself has written its story in light, and by building ways to gather it, we're slowly learning to read it. As our vision pushes farther and farther into space, we begin to notice something profound. The light from distant galaxies is not the same as the light from nearby stars. It carries a subtle clue, a stretching of its waves, a soft drift toward the red end of the spectrum. This phenomenon is called redshift, and it reveals a truth that forever changed our understanding of the cosmos. Imagine you are standing at a train station. The whistle of a train sounds high as it approaches, and lower as it moves away. The sound waves stretch as the train departs. That is exactly what happens with light. When a galaxy is moving away from us, its light waves stretch too, drifting into longer, redder wavelengths. Now, take that train station and imagine it on the scale of the universe. But here, it is not the galaxies themselves racing through space like trains. It is space itself that is expanding, carrying galaxies with it, like raisins moving apart in a loaf of bread as it rises in the oven. The more space expands, the farther the galaxies move apart, and the more their light stretches as it travels toward us. This discovery was monumental. because it meant that the universe is not static, not fixed in place as many once thought. It is alive in motion, growing, unfolding across time. So, when astronomers measure the redshift of a distant galaxy, they're not only learning how far away it is, they're also reading the history of cosmic expansion. They're holding a record of how the universe itself has evolved. This is why when we look out into space, we are really looking back through time. The faint galaxies at the very edges of what we can observe are not as they are now backslash. They are as they were billions of years ago, long before our sun was born, long before Earth formed. The Hubble Space Telescope gave us one of the clearest windows into this past. In the 1990s, astronomers pointed it at a patch of sky that appeared completely empty, a tiny region no larger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. For days, the telescope stared into that darkness, collecting every fragile particle of light that drifted into its mirrors. When the image was revealed, the so-called Hubble Deep Field, it stunned the world. The patch of sky that looked empty to the human eye was overflowing with galaxies. Thousands upon thousands of them, each one a vast city of stars. Some of these galaxies were so faint and so distant that their light had been traveling for more than 13 billion years. They were images of the universe in its infancy, galaxies just beginning to form, stars kindling into life in the first generations of cosmic creation. This discovery told us something extraordinary. Every blank space in the sky is not empty at all. If you could look deep enough, with sensitive enough eyes, you would find galaxies scattered everywhere, even in the places that appear as pure darkness. It is like walking into a forest at night with only a candle. You see a few trees nearby, but the deeper shapes remain hidden. Then someone gives you a lantern, and suddenly you see hundreds of trunks stretching all around you. The universe works in the same way. The deeper we look, the more we realize it is filled beyond measure. But visible light is only one kind of lantern. There are other kinds of light our eyes cannot see, and each one reveals new layers of the story. Infrared light, for example, allows us to peer through cosmic dust. Dust clouds in space are like curtains. They block visible light, hiding newborn stars and young galaxies. But in infrared, those curtains become transparent, and suddenly the hidden structures appear, glowing softly in warmth. Ultraviolet light tells another story. It reveals the hottest, youngest stars, burning with fierce energy, scattering radiation that shapes the galaxies around them. Radio waves, with their long, patient wavelengths, allow us to map the large-scale structure of the universe. Enormous webs of galaxies stretching across billions of light years, connected by invisible filaments, and then there are X-rays and gamma rays. These high-energy forms of light show us violent places, the hearts of black holes, the explosions of dying stars, the most extreme events the universe has to offer. By building telescopes tuned to all these different forms of light, humanity has assembled a more complete picture of the cosmos. Each wavelength is like a different language. Each reveals a chapter of the story that would remain invisible otherwise. This is why we can see so far, not because our eyes alone are powerful, but because we have learned to extend our senses with instruments, to listen to the full range of messages the universe is sending us. And perhaps the most powerful extension of all is the James Webb Space Telescope. With its great golden mirrors tuned to infrared light, it has opened a window further back than ever before, capturing galaxies that formed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. Think of that for a moment. The faint light it gathers began its journey almost 14 billion years ago, crossing an ever-expanding universe, slipping past galaxies, dust clouds, and endless stretches of void, until finally it touched our telescope and was seen by human eyes for the very first time. This is the scale of our vision. We are not simply looking out into space. We are tracing the universe back toward its own beginning. So the next time you look at the stars, pause and let this truth settle in. Every single one of those points of light is not just shining. It is sending you a memory, a story written long ago, carried faithfully across billions of years, until this very moment, when it meets your eyes. As we reach further into the universe with our telescopes, we find that every discovery raises a new question. Every faint glow of light carries not only answers, but also mysteries. One of the deepest mysteries comes from the very edge of what we can see. Astronomers call this the cosmic horizon, the limit of the observable universe. Beyond this horizon, there may be more galaxies, more stars, even other structures of unimaginable scale. But their light has not yet had time to reach us, because the universe has only existed for a finite span of time, about 13.8 billion years. This means that when we look out into the furthest depths of space, we are also looking as far back in time as the speed of light allows. The oldest light of all is called the cosmic microwave background, a faint glow left over from the birth of the universe itself. To imagine it, think of standing in a quiet field just before sunrise. The world is still dark, but the first faint blush of dawn begins to spread across the sky. That dim glow backslash, carrying the promise of day, is what the cosmic microwave background is to the universe. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang, the leftover light from a time when the universe was still young and filled with a hot, glowing fog. Billions of years ago, when the cosmos was just a few 100,000 years old, atoms were first forming. Light was finally able to travel freely through space without being scattered by dense matter. That light has been moving ever since, cooling and stretching as the universe expanded. Today it bathes the universe as a faint microwave signal, invisible to our eyes, but detectable with sensitive instruments. When astronomers mapped this ancient light, they found subtle ripples, tiny variations in temperature and density, and within those ripples was the blueprint for everything we see today. The stars, the galaxies, the clusters of galaxies, all grew out of those first delicate patterns. So when we say we can see far into space, it does not just mean stars and galaxies. It means we can trace our vision all the way back to the first light of creation, to the very dawn of the cosmos. Think of it from your small place on Earth, with the night sky above you. You're connected to a chain of light that stretches back nearly 14 billion years. You're linked to the moment the universe itself began to shine. But our ability to see so far depends on more than just light and telescopes. It also depends on patience and on the human imagination. When astronomers build a telescope, they do not just look for what is obvious. They push it to its limits, searching for the faintest traces. For weeks or months, a telescope might stare at the same patch of sky, gathering light photon by photon, until an image slowly emerges. It is like listening to a whisper in a crowded room. At first it is buried in noise. But if you listen carefully, long enough, the whisper grows clearer, and eventually you can hear the story being told. That is how we have uncovered some of the faintest galaxies, little smudges of light billions of light years away, so delicate that without long exposure times, they would never appear at all. Each one of those faint galaxies is like a lantern in the darkness, and together they show us that the universe is not empty. It is overflowing with light, with structure, with memory, and yet, for all that we can see, there is still so much we cannot. Astronomers estimate that the stars and galaxies we observe make up only a tiny fraction of the universe. The rest is hidden in forms we cannot directly see. Dark matter and dark energy, invisible ingredients that shape the cosmos in silence. We cannot observe them with our eyes, but we can see their effects. Galaxies rotate faster than their visible matter alone should allow backslash. Large clusters of galaxies bend light around them through gravity, like glass lenses in space. These clues tell us that something unseen is there, pulling the strings of the universe from behind the curtain. So our journey to see farther is also a journey to see more deeply. not just what shines brightly, but what lies beneath, what shapes and sculpts the visible universe. In this way, every telescope we build, every spectrum of light we explore, is another step toward unveiling the full picture. And perhaps the most humbling thought of all is that the more we see, the more we realize how small we are from the surface of Earth. We are a single species looking up at an infinite expanse. And yet, from that tiny vantage point, with fragile instruments built by human hands, we have reached across billions of light years. We have glimpsed the universe as it was when it first began. So when you stand under the stars, let yourself feel the scale of what you are connected to. You are not simply looking at dots of light. You are looking at a living history, stretching back to the origin of time itself. Even as we trace the universe back to its earliest light, we continue to push outward and forward, striving to see more clearly, more deeply, and farther than ever before. The universe is patient. It does not hurry. It sends its light across the vastness of space and waits for us to catch it. Each generation of astronomers builds instruments that are slightly sharper, slightly more sensitive than the last. They learn to capture faint glimmers of light that might otherwise vanish into the darkness. The James Webb Space Telescope, for instance, is a marvel of human engineering. Its mirrors, coated in gold and spanning over 6 meters across, are tuned to see infrared light from the earliest galaxies, light that has been traveling for almost the entire lifetime of the universe. By studying this ancient light, we can understand how the first stars ignited, how galaxies were born, how the very structure of the cosmos began to take shape. But seeing far is not just about distance. It is also about time. Every star we observe is a snapshot of a moment in history. Some stars are still shining brightly today. Others have long since burned out, leaving only their light traveling across the void. When we look at a galaxy a billion light years away, we are seeing it as it was a billion years ago, perhaps very different from how it appears now, backslash. And yet, this history is not static. It is dynamic, flowing, evolving. The universe is alive in its own quiet way. Its expansion continues, carrying galaxies farther from one another. Its stars are born and die, creating the elements that will one day form new stars, new planets, and perhaps new life. Our ability to see so far depends on this light reaching us. And in some ways, it is a race against time and distance. The farther away an object is, the fainter its light becomes. Eventually, it fades below the threshold of our instruments. But humanity does not give up easily. Astronomers combine the power of multiple telescopes, from Earth and space, to gather light from the most elusive corners of the universe. They develop new techniques to filter out noise, to amplify signals that are billions of times fainter than the faintest candle. We even turn the sky itself into a telescope, using the gravity of massive clusters of galaxies as a lens, bending and magnifying the light from objects even farther away. A phenomenon called gravitational lensing. Through this cosmic trick of nature, we can see galaxies that would otherwise be invisible. Light that has traveled across unimaginable distances is focused and brightened just enough for us to glimpse it. And then there is the power of collaboration. Teams of scientists across the world, sharing data, combining observations, pushing instruments to their limits. It is a human effort on a global scale, a quiet triumph of curiosity and perseverance. The discoveries that come from these efforts are breathtaking. We have seen galaxies forming when the universe was just a few 100 million years old. We have glimpsed stars that are larger than anything in our own galaxy. We have mapped clouds of gas stretching for millions of light years, and even observed black holes consuming matter with unimaginable power. Through it all, we are reminded of our own smallness. And yet, through curiosity, imagination, and ingenuity, we participate in a profound connection with the universe itself. Every faint photon of light we capture is a message, a story written billions of years ago. traveling across the void to reach us. Each observation is a conversation with the cosmos, and each discovery opens new doors, new questions, new mysteries. As we continue to push the boundaries of what we can see, we are not only exploring space, we are exploring ourselves. Our desire to know, to understand, to reach beyond what is immediately visible is what drives us forward. So when you gaze at the stars tonight, know that you are looking into a living, breathing universe, one that stretches across incomprehensible distances, and one that has been quietly sending messages for billions of years, waiting for patient eyes, human curiosity, and instruments capable of capturing its faintest whispers. The universe invites us to look deeper, to wonder, and to keep searching. And as long as we do, we will continue to see farther than anyone ever thought possible. As we reach the very edge of what we can see, the universe opens before us in ways that are both humbling and awe-inspiring. Every star, every galaxy, every faint glimmer of light tells a story of time, of distance, and of connection. We have learned that to see far into space is not just a matter of building bigger telescopes or sending instruments into orbit. It is a matter of patience, of ingenuity, and of listening carefully to what the universe is telling us. Every photon of light that reaches our telescopes carries a message that began billions of years ago. Some of it is faint, almost imperceptible, but with careful attention, with instruments designed to gather and amplify it, we can read it. And in doing so, we understand more about the cosmos and about our place within it. And yet, there's something more profound here, something quiet and almost sacred. To see far into space is to see far into time. It is to look back to the moments when the universe was newborn, when the first stars ignited, when galaxies began to spin into being. When you witness that light, you are witnessing history on the grandest scale imaginable. It reminds us that we are part of something far larger than ourselves, that the Earth, our lives, our fleeting moments exist within a vast, ongoing story, a story that began long before us and will continue long after us. At the same time, it teaches us that even in this immensity, our efforts matter, that human curiosity, human ingenuity, and human persistence can reach across the void, can touch the distant past, can gather the faintest whispers of light and transform them into understanding. Every discovery is a triumph of patience, of observation, of imagination. The galaxies we see today may have lived and died millions or billions of years ago, but through their light, they speak to us now reminding us that the universe is not silent. It has always been communicating, waiting for someone patient enough to listen. And so we continue, building larger telescopes, launching instruments into space, developing new ways to observe the universe in every wavelength. Each advancement opens a new chapter, reveals hidden structures, illuminates cosmic history that was previously invisible. It is a journey without end, because the universe itself is infinite in possibility. And the more we see, the more we realize there is to discover. When you look at the night sky, take a moment to let yourself feel the connection. The starlight you see has traveled across unimaginable distances, across the void, across time, to reach you. And in that moment, you are part of that journey too. You're looking into the history of the cosmos, into the past and the present simultaneously. And that act of seeing, of understanding, connects you to everything that exists, has existed, and will exist. The universe is vast, beautiful, and patient. And we, with our small but determined eyes and instruments, are fortunate enough to witness it, to follow its light, to uncover its stories. And in doing so, we discover something about ourselves. We discover our capacity to wonder, to dream, to reach beyond the limits of our own experience, to connect with a universe that is older and larger than we can imagine. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: that even across unimaginable distances, even across billions of years, light finds its way to those who are willing to see. And we are willing. So tonight, as you watch the stars shimmer quietly above, remember, every point of light is a story. Every distant galaxy, a memory. Every faint glow, a testament to time, space, and the enduring reach of curiosity. And in that quiet moment, know this. You are looking far, far into space. And at the same time, you are looking deep into the heart of the universe itself. Imagine lying on a quiet hill at night, the soft wind brushing your skin, and looking up at the vast tapestry of stars stretching endlessly above you. Each twinkle is like a tiny whisper from the universe, inviting you to wonder, to dream, to question. You might find yourself asking a question that has echoed through human curiosity for centuries. Does space end? It is a question that feels simple at first, almost childlike in its curiosity, but when you sit with it, it becomes profoundly mysterious. Space is not just the darkness above us. It is a vast ocean in which our tiny world floats, a canvas upon which the universe paints its grand story. The stars, the galaxies, the nebulae, they all drift in this cosmic sea, each carrying the history of light that has traveled millions and billions of years to reach our eyes. If you imagine space as a room, you might think that at some point you would reach a wall, a final boundary where the universe simply stops. But the reality is far more subtle and beautiful. Space does not end like a road hitting a dead stop. Instead, it stretches outward, expanding in ways that even the most brilliant minds struggle to fully grasp. The universe is constantly growing, slowly stretching itself wider and wider like an invisible balloon. Galaxies drift apart, not because they are moving through space, but because space itself is expanding between them. You can picture it as dots on a rubber sheet. As the sheet stretches, each dot moves away from the others, not by moving on the sheet, but because the sheet itself is expanding beneath them. And yet, even this image is just a shadow of the true wonder. The universe may not have an edge, at least not in the way we can imagine edges. If you could travel forever in one direction, you might keep going and going without ever finding a wall. Some theories suggest that space might even loop back on itself, like the surface of a sphere. You could move straight ahead and, after unimaginable distances, arrive back where you started, in a journey so vast it is beyond human comprehension. Light itself carries hints of the universe's limits. When we gaze at the night sky, we see stars and galaxies not as they are now, but as they were long ago. The light from distant galaxies has taken millions or billions of years to reach us. In this way, we are always peering into the past, into a time when the universe was very different. But beyond the edge of what we can see, there is more, infinitely more. Galaxies, stars, and mysteries beyond our current perception. And yet, even with all this vastness, space feels intimate. There is a certain stillness in imagining it. The quiet that stretches between stars is almost tangible. A place where time itself seems to pause, where the universe exists in a slow, gentle rhythm that has persisted for eons. In this calm expanse, you can almost sense the continuity of everything, the connection between the smallest particle and the largest galaxy, between your own heartbeat and the pulse of cosmic time. Somewhere out there, space may curve, fold, or even loop in ways that defy our intuition. The universe is not limited by the walls of our imagination. It is vast beyond measure, yet strangely personal, as though every star is a note in a song that the universe has been composing since its birth. And perhaps that is the most comforting thought of all, that we are part of something so immense, so endlessly beautiful, that even our brief lives are threads in its infinite fabric. Scientists use mathematics and observation to explore these truths, mapping galaxies and measuring the faintest signals of light that have traveled billions of years. They calculate distances so vast that our minds struggle to hold them. Yet even with all our knowledge, the question remains open. Does space end, or is it simply beyond the boundaries of what we can comprehend? An eternal horizon that stretches forever and invites us to imagine, to dream, and to wonder. As you visualize this, allow yourself to float among the stars, to drift past the Milky Way, past galaxies spinning gracefully in the darkness. Feel the quiet, feel the enormity, and let the vastness of space remind you of both how small we are and how profoundly connected we are to the universe itself. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a star. Every breath you take is part of a cycle that began long before humans existed and will continue long after. In this sense, space does not just surround us, it is within us, carrying the memory of creation, the echoes of light, and the quiet promise that the universe is, in some way, infinite. Even as you ponder these ideas, there is a gentle peace in not knowing. There is beauty in the mystery, in the possibility that space might stretch forever, beyond anything our minds can truly envision. You are a traveler in this cosmic ocean, and the journey itself is a reminder of the boundless wonder that surrounds us. So when you next look up at the night sky, allow yourself to pause, to breathe, and to imagine the endless reaches of space. Let your mind float with the galaxies, drift with the stars, and feel the comforting enormity of the universe. Space may not end in any way we can see or touch, and perhaps that is the gift it offers. An eternal expanse to inspire our curiosity, to spark our imagination, and to remind us that in the midst of such infinite vastness, there is still room for wonder, for reflection, and for the quiet joy of simply being part of it all. As you continue to drift through this mental journey, imagine moving beyond the galaxies you know, beyond the familiar clusters, beyond the glowing spiral of the Milky Way. There lies a darkness so vast that it almost feels like a gentle hush. It is a space untouched by human eyes, a place where stars have yet to form and the universe waits in quiet patience. In this darkness, there is no sense of end. There is no wall or barrier that says you have reached the edge. Instead, it feels more like an ocean without a shoreline. You can sail forever, and still there is more to explore, more to witness, more to imagine. And in that, there is comfort, for it reminds us that life and curiosity itself need not be limited. There is always more to discover, always a horizon just beyond what we see. You may wonder about the fabric of space itself, the invisible threads that stretch between galaxies, carrying light and gravity across unimaginable distances. This fabric is not empty. Even in its quiet darkness, it is alive with energy. It stretches, it bends, it ripples in ways that give birth to stars, that shape galaxies, that allow planets to orbit their suns in delicate harmony. The emptiness is not void. It is a stage upon which the universe performs its endless dance. And then think of time. In this vast expanse, time flows differently than it does for us here on Earth. Light from the farthest galaxies takes billions of years to reach us. In some sense, when we gaze at the night sky, we are looking back in time. Each star is a memory. Each galaxy a story from long ago, traveling across the ocean of space to meet our eyes. And yet, even with these glimpses of the past, there is more beyond what we can see. There are stars being born, galaxies spinning, and cosmic events unfolding in ways that our instruments have yet to detect. Imagine for a moment that you could float freely in this cosmic sea. You would feel the silence, the gentle stillness that has existed for billions of years. You would see light traveling across vast distances, sometimes from stars that no longer exist. You would witness the slow ballet of galaxies, colliding, merging, and forming new clusters in a cycle as old as time itself. And in this stillness, you would begin to understand something deeply profound. The universe is not just out there. It is around you, within you, part of the very matter and energy that makes you who you are. Scientists often speak of the observable universe, the part we can measure and study. It is a bubble of light, stretching nearly 93 billion light-years across. But beyond this bubble, there may be more. infinite more. Galaxies that we will never see, stars that will never shine upon our eyes, and cosmic wonders that exist beyond the reach of our instruments. The universe may be infinite, or it may curve in ways we cannot yet understand. Either way, the sense of limit dissolves, leaving behind only the boundless and the eternal. And in that thought, there is a gentle lesson for us, that even when life feels constrained, when our own world seems small, we are part of something immeasurable. The universe teaches us patience, perspective, and humility. It reminds us that our worries, our struggles, and our fleeting moments are threads in a much larger tapestry. And yet, each thread matters. Each life, each breath, each heartbeat is a part of this grand, cosmic story. Now, picture yourself moving deeper into space, past the reach of familiar constellations, past the shimmer of distant suns. Imagine the soft glow of nebulae, clouds of gas, and dust forming stars in slow, deliberate motion. Each cloud is a cradle of creation, a gentle reminder that even in emptiness, life and light are possible. And here, in this quiet place, you can let yourself feel the universe's vastness not as overwhelming, but as comforting. It is a reminder of infinite possibility, of endless beauty, of quiet, patient wonder. And as you continue to float, you notice that space is not just a backdrop. It is alive with history. It holds the echoes of creation, the memory of time stretching back to the Big Bang. Every star, every galaxy, every beam of light carries a story. And in listening, even just imagining it, we connect to that history. We become part of the universe's gentle, eternal rhythm, one small presence in a vast, living cosmos. So let your mind linger here, in this infinite expanse, where there is no end, no wall, no boundary. Only stars, light, and darkness intertwined in a dance older than imagination. Only time stretching endlessly, carrying galaxies, carrying history, carrying the quiet promise that the universe continues beyond what we can see, beyond what we can measure, beyond what we can even dream. And in this endless journey, allow yourself to feel calm, to feel wonder, to feel connected. Space may not end, and perhaps that is the gift it gives us. A reminder that even when life seems small, even when the world feels finite, there's always room to expand, to imagine, to explore, and to simply be part of something infinite. As you drift further into this vastness, imagine space stretching in all directions beyond what your mind can hold. The stars you see are like sparks on an endless dark canvas. Yet even beyond those sparks lies a quiet mystery, a silence so deep it feels almost alive. And in that silence, there's a sense of infinite possibility. Some scientists suggest that the universe we see is just a small portion of a much larger reality. There may be regions beyond our observation, places where galaxies exist in patterns we cannot yet comprehend, where light has not yet reached, and where the very laws of physics might differ from what we know. The idea is both humbling and thrilling. It means that no matter how much we explore, there is always more. Always another horizon, always another secret waiting to be revealed. You can imagine yourself gliding past cosmic filaments, the vast threads of galaxies that stretch like veins through the universe. Between these threads lie enormous voids, vast spaces where almost nothing exists. Yet these voids are part of the cosmic design, shaping the universe in ways that are subtle, profound, and beautiful. Even emptiness has a role. Even silence carries meaning. Now, think about the concept of infinity. The universe may curve, twist, or even loop back on itself in dimensions we cannot see. You might imagine traveling in one direction for eternity and still never reaching an edge. Or perhaps, like the surface of a sphere, your path would eventually bring you back to where you began, without ever encountering a wall or a border. Space, in this sense, is more like an endless journey than a bounded place. And yet, even as you imagine this vastness, space can feel surprisingly personal. Every atom in your body was once part of a star. Every breath you take is connected to cycles of energy that stretch back to the beginning of time. In this way, the universe is not just around you. It is within you. You are made of stars, of cosmic dust, of light that has traveled across billions of years. The vastness outside mirrors the infinity within. Consider the galaxies themselves, spinning slowly in silent harmony. Some are small and delicate, others enormous and powerful. Each galaxy holds billions of stars, each star a sun with its own planets, perhaps some of them harboring life we cannot yet imagine. And between them, the darkness flows gently, a calm, ever-present reminder of the scale of everything. It is a scale so vast that it can quiet the mind, slow the thoughts, and invite wonder. Even as you reflect on these ideas, there is a rhythm to space, a gentle pulse that is not measured in minutes or hours, but in billions of years. Stars are born, live, and die. Galaxies merge and drift apart. Light travels, carrying stories across the universe. And throughout it all, the expansion continues, stretching the fabric of space like a soft, invisible river, flowing endlessly, carrying matter and energy, shaping the cosmos in ways that are subtle yet profound. And then there's the thought of multiple universes. Some theories suggest that our universe might be just one of countless others, each with its own stars, galaxies, and possibilities. Imagine an infinite ocean of universes, each one unique, each one vast beyond comprehension. The idea is staggering, yet strangely comforting. It suggests that possibilities are endless, that creation is boundless, and that the cosmos is richer than our imagination can ever fully grasp. As you float through this cosmic sea, let yourself notice the stillness. Notice the quiet rhythm of space, the gentle flow of time, and the soft glow of distant stars. There is no rush, no urgency, just a calm, endless expanse where you can drift, explore, and reflect. And in this calm, there is a connection between you and the universe, between the past and the present, between the seen and the unseen. The universe, vast as it is, invites curiosity and wonder. It encourages us to ask questions, to imagine possibilities, and to recognize our place within a grand, eternal story. Space may not have an edge, and perhaps it never will. But in that infinite expanse lies a kind of peace, a gentle reminder that even in a world that can feel small, our imagination and our spirit are boundless. And so, as you let these thoughts settle, imagine yourself floating among the galaxies, drifting past nebulae, and watching light travel across unimaginable distances. Feel the stillness, the quiet, and the majesty of space. Let the vastness remind you that life, wonder, and curiosity are infinite, just like the universe itself. There is no end to explore, no wall to stop at, only the endless invitation to journey, to imagine, and to simply be part of this grand, cosmic tapestry. As you drift further, imagine the universe as a gentle, endless ocean. The galaxies are waves, moving slowly, gracefully, carrying with them light that has traveled across unimaginable distances. The darkness between them is not empty. It is a soft, infinite canvas, allowing the light to shine and giving space for wonder to grow. In this quiet, there is a profound sense of peace. You might begin to feel something almost like a connection, not just to the stars or to the galaxies, but to the universe itself. The vastness around you mirrors something within you. The same infinite potential, the same quiet strength, the same endless capacity to dream and imagine. Space reminds us that even small lives have meaning, that even fleeting moments are part of a grand, cosmic story. Consider the soft glow of nebulae, clouds of gas, and dust forming stars. They are cosmic nurseries, places of creation, where light is born and journeys outward to touch distant worlds. Watching them, even in imagination, can be soothing. They remind us that creation is constant, that life, in some form, is always emerging, and that beauty can exist in the quietest, most hidden corners of the universe. And then there is the rhythm of time. Space is not just a place. It is a flow, a gentle river carrying the past into the present and into the future. Light from distant stars shows us what was, teaching us patience, humility, and wonder. Galaxies dance, stars pulse, and planets orbit silently, all in a slow, harmonious motion. In observing this, even mentally, there is a sense of calm, a feeling that existence itself is vast, beautiful, and eternal. You may find yourself reflecting on the idea that the universe has no edge, that space stretches endlessly beyond our imagination, beyond our observation, beyond even the boundaries of our thoughts. This can feel overwhelming at first, but in it, there is comfort. The infinity of space mirrors the infinity of possibility. It reminds us that imagination, curiosity, and wonder are limitless, just like the universe. Picture yourself floating near a cluster of galaxies, each one spinning in its own quiet rhythm. The stars within them shine steadily, their light traveling across vast distances to meet you. And even in the emptiness between them, there is life, energy, and movement. Even in the darkness, there is light. And in that interplay, there is a gentle lesson that in life, even in quiet moments, even in spaces that seem empty, there's always beauty, always connection, always hope. Somewhere in this vastness, the universe holds secrets we may never know. Perhaps there are worlds filled with life, perhaps entire galaxies yet unseen. But even without knowing, there is comfort in imagining. In imagining, we participate in the endless story of creation. We become part of the rhythm of space, part of the dance of stars, part of a universe that has been unfolding for billions of years and will continue long after we are gone. And so, as you float, allow yourself to feel small yet significant, fragile yet infinite. Space stretches endlessly, yet it carries you gently, cradles your imagination, and invites reflection. There is no end to this journey, only the quiet, infinite expanse that surrounds you. In this, there is peace, wonder, and a profound sense of belonging. Finally, take a moment to breathe with the universe. Imagine the gentle pulse of galaxies, the soft glow of stars, the invisible threads of space connecting everything. Feel the vastness, the calm, the timeless beauty. And in this quiet, let yourself rest in the thought that space may not end. And in that eternal stretch, there is room for your imagination, your dreams, and your wonder. As you continue to float through this endless expanse, imagine the universe as a quiet, infinite sea. Galaxies drift like islands of light, each one holding untold stories, each star a soft pulse in the vast darkness. And between them, the empty space seems alive with possibility, as if it is waiting patiently for discovery, for imagination, for reflection. There is a gentle comfort in knowing that space may never end, that there is always more beyond what we can see, more beyond what we can understand, more beyond what we can even dream. And in that boundless expanse, there is room for curiosity, room for wonder, room for our minds to explore freely without limits or boundaries. Imagine drifting past a glowing nebula, its colors soft and ethereal, swirling slowly in the darkness. Light from its newborn stars spills outward, touching distant galaxies and carrying with it the memory of creation. Even in its quiet beauty, there's a reminder that the universe is always creating, always moving, always alive in ways that are gentle, subtle, and endlessly magnificent. And then consider the stars themselves. Each one, a sun with its own planets, perhaps some with life, perhaps some carrying secrets we will never know. Yet, even without seeing them, there is a connection. You are part of the same cosmic story. Every atom in your body was once forged in the heart of a star. Every breath, every heartbeat, Every thought is woven into the fabric of a universe itself. Time in the space flows differently, yet it flows. Light travels, galaxies spin, and the universe expands quietly, endlessly. In imagining this, there is a sense of timelessness, a calm that allows your mind to pause, to breathe, and to reflect. A reminder that even in our brief, fleeting lives, we are connected to something far greater, far older, and far more beautiful than we can fully grasp. Perhaps in the grandest sense, space does not end because it cannot. It is infinite in ways we can imagine and ways we cannot. It is vast, mysterious, and gentle, a reminder that there is always more beyond the horizon, always more to wonder about, always more to explore, even if only in thought and imagination. And that, in itself, is a kind of quiet miracle. So as you float among the galaxies, past the nebulae, past the faint glimmers of stars billions of light years away, let yourself feel the calm, the awe, and the connection. Let the enormity of the universe remind you that even in vastness there is intimacy, even in darkness there is light, and even in the unknown there is a gentle invitation to wonder. Take a slow, deep breath and imagine carrying this infinite calm with you. Know that you are part of this cosmic ocean, that your life is intertwined with stars, galaxies, and the timeless rhythm of space itself. And in this, there is peace. A quiet, profound peace that comes from knowing that the universe stretches endlessly, that space may not end, and that your imagination and curiosity are as limitless as the cosmos. And as you rest in this thought, allow the wonder to linger. Let it settle like soft starlight across your mind, a gentle reminder of the vast, beautiful, and infinite universe that surrounds you. Here, in the quiet expanse of space, there's endless possibility, infinite beauty, and the comforting truth that we are part of something far greater than ourselves.